is vastly approaching, and now Foden gets round the outside and checks and comes back. De Bruyne hit it in low. Bernardo Silva gets to the loose one in the area, and then it's hooked away. The referee's got the whistle in his mouth, and that's how the first half concludes. The reality is that the Blues have been in complete control of this match from the first whistle to the last whistle. They dominated the opening few minutes, could have scored but couldn't quite manage it. Then they did through Kevin De Bruyne, a side foot into the corner of the net. Still in control, they had one or two other chances. Vavro almost scored an own goal, hit his own crossbar. Haaland had a scissors kick that almost went into the net. And then out of absolutely nothing, El Yunusi was given the ball by Ederson on the edge of the area. His shot was blocked. Maatsen tucked in the equaliser. An equaliser completely against the run of play. But just before half-time, a lovely little finish by Bernardo Silva has restored City's lead. And so at half-time in the Parken Stadium, it is Copenhagen 1, City 2.
So that is half-time. Thank you so much to Alistair Mann and to Michael Brown for the first half commentary. So City leading 2-1 after a little shock moment there in the first half when Copenhagen equalised. But at half-time, it is 2-1. Still joined in the studio by Paul Dickov, Steph Houghton and by Shaun Wright-Phillips. What are you giggling at?
Just laughing to myself. I'm in a happy mood, ain't I?
He's not had pizza, if anybody was wondering. He has not had any pizza. A pretty dominant first half from City there. 75% possession, 12 shots, 4 shots on target for City. Just the 1 shot on target for Copenhagen. We'll come to that finish as well from Maatsen there in the first half. But, Paul, apart from that Copenhagen goal, I mean, that was a really impressive first 45 from City.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we were saying, just as the equalised, funnily enough, that it's probably one of the best performances that we've seen from City this season. Away from home in Europe, they're all talking about how tough it was, but just completely dominant from the very start. And, you know, at 1-0, we're probably kicking ourselves. It's not 2 or 3 or maybe 4, the amount of chances we created. And John Stones has been absolutely brilliant at the back, going into midfield. Kevin, outstanding, but fantastic team performance. Only a slight little problem. We all just hope Jack Grealish is going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about Jack in just a second. We'll start with the goal and we'll work through the first half. So we came out really quickly, started the game so well, Steph. Took just 10 minutes to get our first goal. Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, out of interest, it's the first goal that's been scored at Copenhagen since Stephen Ireland scored in 2009. Obviously, before that, it was Ned Manua that scored in Copenhagen. I mean, it was a fantastic finish. I thought he was going to cross it. I thought he was going to get an assist, but the shot, I mean, it was inch perfect, Steph.
I think we all thought he was going to cross it because Haaland's in the box trying to make movement, and I think he's just that switched on and that ahead of the game. I think he probably surprised himself in terms of his finish, but to be able to recognise that the ball to Haaland wasn't on in the box and then to put it bottom corner, I mean, he's came back from injury as if he's never left in terms of performances, and he looks so fresh and bright. And yeah, I mean, look, I think when you're playing against someone like Kevin De Bruyne, I think, Shaun, you made a good point, like, how do you mark him? Because he pops up on the right wing, left wing, he's playing up there with Haaland, he's going into midfield trying to get the ball, and like even his running tonight, I think his tackling and just trying to get around the ball and making something happen has been really good, and that kind of set the tempo for City going forward.
Talk to me specifically about the finish, Shaun. Just how good is that finish?
Well, playing out in those wide areas, and I'm sure Paul's been in those positions as well, that is pretty much the only corner he can put it. And to hit the side netting as that just shows you that for me, that's what he was aiming for. And Steph made it clear, like, he's obviously had a look up, and you see, if you watch the goal, he has a little glance, and it's almost like he realises, I can't get the ball to him there, but they think I'm going to do it. So, hey, I might as well just shoot and put it in the bottom corner. And that's pretty much what he done. He saw the play and took the chance.
Yeah.
It's the speed of thought, but the technique to do it at the same time. As I said, everybody, I think every other player on the pitch whips that across the face of the goal, but he's looked to do that. And then in a split second, he decided, I'm going to shoot. And the technique, as Shaun said, there's no other place that he could put it that goes in the goal right in the corner.
So City go 1-0 up with that wonderful, wonderful goal from Kevin De Bruyne. But then just 5 minutes later, as Paul mentioned, the sort of negative point from the first half, Jack Grealish gets injured. So he went down off the ball. the physio came on, check him, and then we can kind of see a conversation going on the sidelines, and it appears because he goes back on, it appears, hopefully, we're all hoping, Paul, that it is a precautionary thing, that they've taken him off given the fact that a number of, it's 2 games a week now to the end of the season, we hope.
It isn't. Look, he did. The guy clipped him a little bit, and it looks as if he's maybe tweaked his groin because he went down straight away. And the thing with Jack is, look, he does go down a lot and buys a lot of fouls, but he usually gets back up straight away, and he stayed down and was shaking his head, so he's obviously felt something muscular. But look, we all hope it's okay. But the right decision. Even I think Ederson and Ruben Diaz went up to him and said, "Look, just it's not worth it," and that was probably the consensus on the side as well. So hopefully it is precautionary because, he looked really sharp, Jack, and the time he was on the pitch, he had the bit between his teeth. He's not been playing. He wanted to show everybody that he was back, and he was doing that. So, bit of a blow, but as we said, hopefully he's going to be okay.
Yeah, really, really hope that he's going to be fine, and it was just precautionary. So everything is ticking along nicely at this point. We get to about half an hour into the game, and we're thinking City are playing brilliantly. They were playing brilliantly. Could have been 2-3-0 up. Some really good opportunities coming from around the pitch. And then Ederson reminds us that he is human. He does make the occasional little error, Steph, and we all gulped. But my goodness, it was a finish from Maatsen.
Yeah, it was a fantastic finish. I think obviously it gets blocked by Diaz and it goes to the edge of the box and he puts it top corner, which is pretty special. And in that moment, they probably deserved it. But I think probably something a little bit uncharacteristic from Ederson. I think we all probably knew he was going to pass. Maybe he shouldn't have passed and maybe just took away the pressure, but I think the way that he moved his body and he actually played the pass, I think it was towards Nathan Ake, it probably becomes a little bit more predictable because he's left-footed, he's kind of going that way already. So, I mean, it's something that he never normally does, but it's good that we kind of bounced back quite quickly in that sense, but it did really knock us for 10-15 minutes after that.
Juve Rossa mentioned him when we spoke to him before the game. Maatsen was signed by Copenhagen recently from another team in Denmark. This was his debut tonight, Shaun. So, I mean, he certainly made himself known to his manager, to his teammates and to the Copenhagen fans with that finish.
Well, yeah, it's not a bad goal to get on your debut, especially when your team's not really touched the ball. I had a shot on effort on goal, and for you to have the chance and be that composed, and the way he whips it around the defender, you can see he knows exactly what he's doing, and that beats Ederson. But it was a well taken goal, and other than that, it's pretty much been all City. I noticed Copenhagen's changed the way they played throughout the first half. Before, it was like when we first started, it was 4-3-3, and then it went into a 4-5-1. They didn't really know how to cope with the overloads, and still don't think they've got to grips with it yet either.
The goal ended up lifting the crowd, which we talked about a lot before the game, Paul, and all of a sudden the crowd came back into life. Did you start to get nervous after that, hearing the crowd? And
No, I was actually all right, Natalie, and I think that goes back. We spoke at the start of the game about the experience that we've now got in Europe, and last season we didn't panic after they scored. We just made sure we started passing the ball, keeping possession again, and found our way back into the game again. And we didn't really give them a chance to really get at us again. There was a couple of times, the times they have got in was we've maybe been a little bit sloppy and maybe gave the ball away. They've not really created anything themselves, but we just kept the ball. We showed our experience. We showed how good we are. And yeah, I just, that was the first shot and goal. Not even just the first shot and goal. And the players we've got in the team now, they're all Champions League winners. They know how to go away from home in hostile environments and win the game and kill the game at the same time, which we needed to do.
And then we went on to kill the first half, at least, with a goal from Bernardo Silva in the 45th minute. We're all saying it's Kevin De Bruyne assist, right?
I think he should get it just based on the hard work he did to make the chance even come about. I thought he worked hard, and it's one side of things people don't mention a lot about Kevin is that side of the dirty game that he does, puts his foot around, sets presses off, and that won a chance for Bernardo, but some finish. He made it look very easy for an outside of the left foot on the right-hand side.
Yeah, loved the finish from Bernardo. If you haven't seen it yet, you need to see the highlights later. Let's have a look at some of the stats from the first half. So, 73% possession for City, attempts on target 4, total attempts 11. Like you can see there, attempts on target for Copenhagen, just the one, which was the goal. Ederson's not had a save to make. Distance covered, that's interesting. So Copenhagen have covered more. Why do you think that is?
Because they're chasing the ball every time they've got it. Literally, they can't get the ball off us.
Yeah.
When we look at the top 5 passing there. Look at that. Ruben Diaz,
Back
Walker, Ake, Stones, Rodri. What does that tell us about the way we've been playing?
It's because they're so high up the pitch. I think Copenhagen have dropped that deep, including with their striker, that our whole team is basically playing in their final third.
I think Al said in comms, didn't he, that Ruben Diaz and John Stones are literally they're defending in their half.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're so deep that you would love that, Steph, wouldn't you?
Yeah, getting the ball all the time. You'd love to just play like that all the time. But that's because we have so much control that a lot of the back four and Rodri always get a lot of the ball. It's because they're the spare players. They're trying to double up on Haaland. They're trying to double up on Kevin De Bruyne, which leaves someone spare. And that's what we do. We just try and work them as much as possible to the point where you find someone that maybe switches off and then you go for goal. And hopefully we'll get a lot more opportunities in the second half.
That's why I kind of agree with what Ali McCoy said. You know, eventually, if you sit back, City are going to find a way through. You're not going to win at their place. So you're better off going for it, at least the first 25 minutes, and see what you can get. And I don't think they've done that. And it's too late for them to do it now, really.
It's like a waiting game, isn't it? You're just waiting for them to score. And City are patient enough to do that. They don't change what they do. Whereas you find a lot of teams in the Champions League, maybe in Premier League, that will change their style because they get frustrated because they don't. Like, look at City v Everton on Saturday. They could have easily went a little bit more long ball because of Haaland, but they didn't. They stayed patient, and that's what happens.
That's what happens. City 2-1 up at half-time in this Champions League group knockout stage game. We won all the group games. I want to quickly, before the second half starts, I think we've got about 5 minutes, Steph. I want to talk about your team because it's just going wonderfully this season. I'm so very much enjoying watching your team play this season. I mean, brilliant win against Arsenal in the FA Cup at the weekend. What a performance from Chiara Keating. The team just seems to be in such a high level of confidence just now. I mean, everything seems to be going so well at the minute for the team.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of belief, which is the most important thing in football, is to have that belief, and we know that we've got good players, we've got real technical players, we've got players that have got pace, and you spoke about Chiara there, what a great season she's having, and in them big moments we need people to step up. And Laya's goal there, we controlled the whole game, to be honest. We didn't really make the keeper work as much as we possibly could, but in them moments we're first to the ball, we're a bit more reactive than what they were. And Chiara at the end, when it comes to a cup game, you just have to find a way to win. And even though we probably want to play better, it's in this moment in the season is just to try and get through these cup competitions as much as possible and just to get into the next round, the FA Cup.
Still fighting very much in the league, very much in the FA Cup, through to the semi-finals of the Conti Cup as well. I'm not saying a T word. I'm not saying it, Steph. I think Gareth Taylor would throttle me if he said it. But to still be in all three competitions at this point in the season, this is what you must want. This is what must have been, the aim for this part of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoke about that as a group, and I think as a group of girls and a group of players, we're all ambitious and we want to win trophies for the football club. And I feel as though because we are winning games, and it's not we're just kind of getting games over the line, we're playing well and we are confident. And we've got a big game on Friday against Chelsea, which is a must-win, and we want to go there and win, and that's the mentality that we have to have. And yeah, it's exciting to be in all three competitions and thereabouts, and I do really believe in the squad that we have, and everybody will play their part no matter whether they're on the pitch playing or they're on the bench or they're part of the squad. I think it's going to take everybody to do something special this season, but we're going the right way about it. I think it's important we don't look too far ahead because we've got so many games around the corner, but we're in a good place right now, and I think a lot of people are talking about us, and it's just important that we keep improving as well.
That goal that we just saw there by Lauren Hemp, it's ridiculous, Shaun, isn't it?
I was listening.
I would rather you watch Hemp's goal because it's unbelievable.
We should have it on a big screen.
See, I was watching it. That's not to say I wasn't listening to you.
Here you go, Shaun.
See, I can multitask.
Shaun, watch this again and give us your live reaction to seeing this acrobatic finish, scorpion backwards.
She hasn't got a right foot, that's why. That's why, and she knows that.
I don't think I could have done that. My body don't work like that. I don't think.
It was such a brilliant finish. Have you spoken to Gareth recently?
A couple of weeks ago, yeah.
Imagine he's very calm.
No, he is, but he's excited about this season than he was at the start. You know, he said at the start of last season there was a few changes and they thought it would take time to adapt, but he genuinely believed that the squad, not just the team, Steph keeps talking about the squad as well, was one of the best he's had, and keeps on talking about how together they are, and you know they've all got the same end, so it's great to see them do them so well, and you know, and I fancy us to win Friday night.
I hope so. I think we will.
I want revenge, Steph. I was speaking to Esme Morgan the other day, and I'm not over that Chelsea game here. Like, I never got over it.
It's crazy to think that we were down to 10 players and then to 9 in the second half and still played as well as we can. So I think we can take some heart into that, into going into Friday. And I think as long as we leave everything on the pitch, then we'll have done ourselves proud, and we've got the quality to do that.
Love that. I'm still not over it. I just, not that I hold a grudge in any way, shape or form, but I want revenge. So best of luck to our women's team taking on Chelsea. That is Friday night in the WSL. So the teams are in the tunnel. They're heading back out for the second half of this Champions League knockout stage game against Copenhagen. City leading 2-1. We'll be back here at full time where hopefully we will be taking a good lead into the second leg. If you're not currently watching on the app, get yourself back over there now. Get your second half commentary now with Alistair Mann and with Michael Brown.
Thank you, Natalie. Welcome back to the Parken Stadion. City leading by 2-1. Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva's goals, either side of an equaliser from the Copenhagen debutant Magnus Madsson. And if this game goes as it has been, City completely dominating possession, you would not discount the Blues adding another couple of goals.